What's going on, guys? Hit Paul's here with another part to this series. In this one, we're getting this ant guy going. He's going to be an enemy in the game, so we'll go through it. I know I kind of did this in the with the parasites, kind of the same thing in a way, but this one actually is going to have different AI entirely than that. I mean, not entirely, but it's going to have it has more of a purpose. He's a very specific purpose. He's going to be running in trying to steal food from a picnic, and you have to fend him off from doing that. I do actually want to have him get upset at you if you shoot him or get too close to him or something, and have him turn on you. We don't obviously want them to just beeline for the food, otherwise there's maybe no challenge there, so that they'll have to turn on you and attack and all that stuff too. So but before we do any of that, we got to get a animated character, right? So this is what we're gonna do. So we need to basically create helpers, I think, cat objects, cat parent here. And before we bring it out, we're gonna go ahead and just choose the spider here, because that's gonna get us started. Also note, always make sure to do this if you can. It's not that big of a deal anymore, but try to face your character positive X, so they're looking down the positive X axis. As you can see here, that's my positive X is going off to the left over there, so that's the direction he's looking. If we do it another direction, we'll have to rotate him inside of the blueprint. So it just avoids that, and also it can sometimes give you weird results, because the reason that we do it this way, the main reason, at least for me, is because obviously Unreal does everything based on X forward, C up, right? So what we get is all forward vectors, all forward, any kind of forward trace from characters and things like that are always going to be, you know, going down this line here. So we just want to make sure that that's facing front, so that all the math works out. Because if it's this way, and then everything we try to check, you know, if he's facing to the right over here, and then everything that we check is always starting from this way, then we always have to do that 90-degree correction, which can really definitely throw off a lot of the math and make things difficult. So try to at this stage get that. Hopefully my spending that much time explaining it tells you how important I feel that it is. Alright, so now that we've got that, we can essentially just drag this out. We'll just be sizing it up. You can see it comes out in the wrong direction, and I'll just try to match about the same general radius or so of our ant, and then we'll just rotate it. So I'll make sure I hit A for angle snap. Oops, let's get the gizmo, and we'll go 90 degrees, and then we will center it. Okay, if you look at these guys, they're centered. Okay, everything's centered. Also, if you pay note, they're also this guy is mirrored. Okay, he's symmetry, and it's right down the axis. So if I were to pick one of these points, you can see that the Y is 0. And if I pick the entire I didn't mean to hit 3 there. If I pick this entire edge here, you can see that's at 0 too. So any and all of my mirroring should be clean, including mirroring the skin weights and everything. So I can actually go ahead and collapse this now. I can actually also attach the legs now. It really doesn't matter if I do or don't attach the legs. To be honest with you, I'm just going to do it. The legs are very generic. Now, I did this on purpose. I did a little bit more detail on the body and the face and everything, because for the most part, the ant's going to be fairly small on the screen. He's also going to be looking at you from about this angle like every time. It's going to be very rare that you see the bottom of him. And doing it this way, I do actually have to do a little bit of adjustment here after what I say, but the idea is that keeping it separated like this allows me to blow the legs off really easy when he dies. So like during like a grenade, or when you shoot him or kick him around or something, he gets hit by a car or something like that, I want these legs to individually be able to go flying off, right? Now I also want to do the head and the butt to have that come flying off, and I am not prepared for that. That's a definite thing right now. I am welded here, and I don't have pass-through geometry. The same thing here. I'm welded and I don't have pass-through geometry. So there's a couple of different approaches I can take. One, I could use particles for that. I could hide these parts of the mesh by masking them out, and then I could spawn like a copy of the head where I fix this up to have a little bit of guts. I do have a little bit of space in the unwrap that I could use for some stuff. I got a big old glitch there for some weird reason, but I got areas where I can pack in little pieces of guts and stuff in my UVs. There's plenty of it. So if I add new geometry, but very small geometry in there for the guts part, you know, maybe a little yellow, you know, gory hole or something like that, it really shouldn't be a problem. So that looked like the shape of the tip of one of his feet, but I just don't know why it was so big. Actually, you know what? I am worried about it. I'm going to go ahead and say that I am worried about it. I don't know what the hell this thing, big giant thing is, and I got to find it. Oh shit, I see what I did. I attached a piece of the cat rig. Okay, so that would have been bad. Alright, there we go. Okay, so now we can grab this guy. We're in movement mode, so we are in official, like, already, you know, in rigging style mode. So really all we got to do is just kind of align these pieces. Okay, now this guy doesn't actually have any head bones. He has 2 mandible bone thingies that they've given him. So I actually want to give him a head bone. So I could use one of these, or I could just say meh, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to take this, we're going to add a bone. Okay, that bone got put in here. It's right there. We'll move it over here. Rotate it. -90 is fine. Actually, no, it's not. We'll just make sure that that's 0, 0, 0. Okay, and I'll put it roughly there. Now, in the one video I showed you guys, I went and grabbed a bunch of rings so I could just anchor it. But I'm not going to do that here. I'm just going to do it the old-fashioned eyeball way by zooming in. But here's the thing. I do want his head bone to be looking straight. Okay? And this might be kind of weird, because it doesn't actually, because in reality you should kind of expect it to go this way, right? I mean, that would make sense. But it's going to come out here from his forehead. But I'm going to consider this his head in looking forward mode, okay? Because what it's going to do, it's going to allow me again to have a perfect zeroed out trace direction right in my x-axis and everything. Okay, so if I trace from here and I shoot out, I should be able to tell pretty quickly, and it almost crosses right over the eye. I have to be in the center of this loop. I kind of have no choice there. If I do it from down here, the rotation will stretch these out around the back of the axis there, so we don't want to do that. So yeah, I think I'm going to be okay with this. Now I do also need the mandibles, so this needs another bone. And okay, let's actually stay in this view real quick. So we can move this around, no problem. We'll stick this right here. The mandible only needs 1 bone. This absolutely has to follow the direction of the rotation. So let's go to the top view. And we'll try to center that somewhere around there. I don't exactly know if that's perfect yet. It's probably not. But the other thing too is that I'm going to treat the mandibles as if they are not curved, so that straight ahead is closed. Or, well, that wouldn't be exactly closed. I don't know how much I'm going to close them. I'm all turned upside down here. Hang on. Let me, there we go. No, hit P so we're in perspective. Okay, so that angle, let's go to local here. Come off of that. See, I think opening and closing in this direction should actually be correct, because that will make the tips meet. So yeah, I'm okay with that. Alright, let's go ahead. Okay, sorry about that. That was actually like an hour-long meeting I had to go into. Alright, so let's see. I'm thinking to get this guy over, I'll just copy that Y value there without the negative, and just paste that back in. So that should be opposite that, and those should be hooked to the head. They are. Okay, just want to double check that. We also need these guys, so we can just take this and dupe it up here real quick around his nose there. Move it in. And let's gonna kind of figure out where I want this to rotate from, but obviously it's gonna be pointing up a little bit like that. Let's move that like so. Let's say 1 and 1, and then I'll pull this down to match the length here. Yoink, something like that, I guess. We can use a trick here. We'll use, if we right click on our snaps and we go to options, there's a thing here called enable axis constraints that we can highlight, and what we can do is now when I move on the Y, I can snap to different verts and I only get affected on that axis. So I can snap that to basically there, and downwards I don't really think I'm gonna get any help. So let's go to the front view here, because there's nothing really for me to snap in the geometry. We'll just go like that, and let's turn off angle snap, go to there, and I want to kind of reach about right there, so let's just tick that in, and then we'll add a bone. That should put it on the tip, which is good, and then we can rotate that down like that. And we don't exactly need to make the length the actual length of the antennae, but we might as well, because it don't hurt, and we don't care about the curve. This doesn't bend, it only bends right here and here. So let's take a look at how we are there. Okay, let me see. If I dupe this, I don't think it takes the other one, and it doesn't. So what I can do, I guess, I'll just dupe them both at the same time, like that, and then I should just be able to move the one into place. Doesn't have to be exactly perfect. These are not going to have a lot of motion in them. I'm more worried about the legs than anything. Okay, so the other thing is that we are with an ant, and this is for a spider, so we're going to select the first of those legs and we're going to dump them. And now what we can do, let's do this in the top view, is essentially just match these things to roughly where they go. Not overly concerned right now about how perfect this is. Just want to get it. That's what the fuck? I don't know why I always find this just so fucking entertaining when shit just doesn't do things like you expect, you know? Alright, so this gotta come up. This might be when I do want to actually capture a loop that I can snap to. It does make things a little bit easier. It's weird that it does that. Can I rotate it? Yeah, because it's this thing, you know? Alright, let's just do this manually. So, that's got to come down anyway. So, what the frick is in my view? You get out of here. Alright, let's go right here. And what is that? Let's hide that. So again, I could do a little bit of snapping here maybe. We'll snap right there vertically. That's about all I need for the snap actually. Okay, let's rotate that. I don't think it's going to let me because of the tip here. And this maybe this is how I should do it. Yeah, I kind of think this is weird. I can't rotate this, right? Well, I suppose I can. Is there a length? Will that move the... Okay, well I can dick with the length. So I guess in that case, I don't know why this feels different than when I was doing it before. I put it about there. Let's try to get the angle. Jesus. Oh, I'm snapping. Okay, that looks alright. Now let's tick down the length. And then try to fix the rotation, and then do that again. We should be able to copy and paste this to the other bones, hopefully. Okay. And then you should be able to move independently, which you can, which is good. Okay, I also feel like the whole thing is cattywampus on the rotation. Some of you might ask what the fuck cattywampus means, and I wouldn't have an answer. Why is that twisting, and why can't I turn it back without doing this shit? Is there a way for me to just make this... Nope, gets rid of the whole damn... No? Wait, what? No? Yeah, I'm good. This is what I want to do. I think this is easier. I'll just get rid of those little frickin' foot markers for now. Okay, let's get the rotation vertical, right? That's what was killing me. So we'll do this, and like that, and like that. I know I got my... need to be in perspective and get rid of that grid bullshit. Let's see. We can snap here, and we may actually be able to snap like right there. Again, it doesn't have to be exactly flawless because this is a kind of a spider or an ant, you know, spider type, and it should be moving around. So let's try this real quick. I have no idea if this is going to work. Copy bone settings, and I don't want to paste it mirrored. I just want to paste it. Actually, yeah, go ahead and snap there. Do the same thing here. Nah, it doesn't work. Okay. I gotta get rid of that. That's kind of annoying. I'm gonna be honest. I don't like having to do it this way. But it ain't that bad. So try to match that right there. Roughly like that. Oops. Oops. There you go. Alright, so the other thing we can do is we can say go by my parent, and we can just zero it out to get it perfectly straight, and then we can try to get this a little bit better. Now I don't want to go by parent anymore, I want to go by local. The length on this guy is too much. Sometimes my mouse won't move that one little extra. How is that? Fucking zero to its parent. I can see a kink in it. I have a feeling that it's the same thing. So it doesn't recognize this as its parent. It probably recognizes this spider root object or something stupid. The only way to really do that would be for me to say pick, and then you can see how I'm off. Right now I can actually zero it out, but I don't like doing that. I don't think anybody liked doing that. It's a little long there. That's weird. I'm not even IK'd anymore. I don't know why it wants to do that. This is kind of difficult, I'm going to be honest. Annoying. However, I think I should be able to actually paste the mirrored style, or not. Maybe if I get rid of that. And I don't think I can do more than one bone, can I? Nope, it gets rid of all that shit. So hang on. Copy. Paste mirrored. Copy. Paste mirrored? Why do I gotta do... Okay, how about this? How about once we get it into place, right? We go over to the motion tab and we create an IK target. Hang on. Move IK target to palm. Select IK target. We don't have one yet. Undo. You dick whistle. Why you put it there? Put it at the end of my fucking chain. Why is it being a dick? And now I can't create it anymore. Let's see if everything else lines up okay the way it was before. With the way the bones are rotated now. It was like here. It's actually not bad. So now, if I do the same thing on this guy, create IK target, just move that over there. Now this should work. Was I copying bone settings? I need to copy limb settings. Hang on. Copy limb settings. Paste limb settings? Paste limb settings? Okay. Get rid of that. And face limb settings? Yeah. Okay, there it is. There it is. Damn, I'm dumb. I was copying bone settings, not the limb settings. Like a dick. Like a dumbass. Okay. Let's get rid of that. Let's copy that and paste that and then just move it, right? Control page down and then move them all. There we go. Control page down, handy tool. Gives you all of the children's. Yeah, look at that. Right? They're lined up. Fuck you, universe. I win. Okay, so just for safety's sake, paste that. I don't think anything changed, or maybe it did. And then we'll do the same thing there. Alright. Now the problem is I still have to fix these guys because I still have to add that dickwad. It was not letting me move the shit around with the IK. You guys saw that, right? It was not letting me stretch. It was being a dick. So I had to get rid of it. And now I got to do this, which is equally irritating, but maybe not, because maybe all I got to do is this. No, it's off left and right. We'll snap right there in the middle. Clearly I'm not exactly in the right spot. I need to come down. It's okay that these are up and down and whatnot. Okay. And then okay, I got that one, so I just need to do one on in the middle here. Should be more down here, right, towards the tip of his little foots. Alright, so this one, I add the target, and I'll just move it over here so I know that that's the right leg. And then I should be able to copy and paste. Good. Okay. This one, okay, and then copy, paste, copy, paste, mirrored, right? There we go. And those should all still be stuck with this, as they are. Okay. Now, this hopefully doesn't affect anything, and it doesn't, which is good. Can't rotate it right now unless I unlink stuff, but because I can unlink these actually temporarily, you can do that. We need a bum bone, so let's add a bone here, and we'll grab it right there, and this will be his bum bone. Let's go ahead and zero all that out. Okay, hit A and we'll flip it backwards. 180. And I'm thinking that I'm probably going to keep it straight. And I want it pretty much right on this line here. As close to middle as I can. This line doesn't feel centered, so it feels like it's a little bit below it, so that's why I'm a little bit below it. I'm very anal about my centering of stuff. I don't know if that comes through in my videos or not, but I am. I can eyeball it fairly well, actually, but through the years of drawing and graphic design and all that shit, you can kind of see when something's not centered anymore. And it almost becomes, to be honest, it almost becomes like a mental disorder, you know, like an OCD thing. You feel like your mind's getting trapped, like, oh god, you know, I'm just staring at center points here and I'm trying to figure out if it's correct, and then my mind's closing off on me, you know. Okay, so I think we're good in terms of the skeleton. These aren't the... These should be opposite. No, they're actually the same. So, given that, let's go 180 on this guy in that angle, that direction. And now, I should be able to, going by local, pincer them, open and close, right? Just by flipping the bone over. And I haven't skinned it to it yet, so it's not like I broke anything. So, the body's okay where it is. I don't care that it's there. It doesn't matter. All the other, this is actually just the root, so all the other stuff I think should be okay. And everything goes with. Alright. So in the next video, this wasn't actually too bad. I'm going to split up here. In the next video, we're going to skin it to it. We're going to use the voxel stuff, or the whatever the new stuff is. We're not going to spend too much time on that. Then we'll get a couple animations. Let's see, just real quick, because I got about a minute here before 30 minutes. For the animations, I definitely need idle, and we definitely need run forward. But in this case, I'm also thinking I'm going to go with turn in place, because I have a new method for getting them to turn. So we might need that. Obviously, we need them to be able to pick stuff up. We need an attack. We need probably a get hit animation. And we need the thing where they grab stuff. So in that case, it's just going to be a blend from the head up, and we're going to blend his mouth closed, and we're going to tilt his head up so he's holding it upwards. You know how ants are when they grab stuff? They kind of hold it up over their head, which is weird, but they're keeping it up off the ground as they run forward, you know. Now ants actually have some interesting behavior, but we're not going to go too crazy with it. I'm not going to like have one ant drop a pheromone trail for the other ones and shit. I mean, you could, it would be interesting, but I think we're just going to go with simple, they charge in and stuff like that. So we'll need the basics, animations, and all that shit. So anyways, this is Hit Pause signing off. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you all in the next one.